Have you heard the tale of La Llorona? If you see a woman with jet black hair and a white dress standing in a river crying, don't go over to her. Don't try to save her, or she'll drown you. Mis hijos, La Llorona would get you. She's looking for lost children, so come home now. Don't let your kids stay out late, especially near water, or La Llorona will take them away thinking they are her own. If you hear her near, then she's actually far. If you hear her far, then she's actually near.
Mis hijos. Mis hijos. La Llorona, the weeping woman, lived in a small village. She wasn't wealthy, but she was beautiful and fell in love with a handsome man. However, the two couldn't marry as La Llorona was poor. That didn't stop him from showering her with gifts. The two eventually had 2 kids, and the man visited and played with his children. Time went by where the man stopped visiting La Llorona and the kids. Worried, she went into the city to go to his mansion. That's when she found out that he was getting married to a princess from Spain. This angered La Llorona. In a jealous rage, she took her kids from her home and drowned them in a river. When she came to her senses, she realized what she had done and ended up dying with grief. Because of what La Llorona had done, she couldn't go into the afterlife without her children. So she was condemned to wander bodies of water looking for her kids. Social worker and widower Anna goes over to the house of Patricia, whose kids have not been showing up to school. That's when she finds her place to be filled with candles and other things that have her worried. When she finds the kids locked in the room, their mother begged her for more time and that La Llorona is coming for them. Eventually, La Llorona gets attached to Anna's own kids, Sam and Chris, and the 3, along with the healer named Raphael, try to banish La Llorona from their home. This movie wasn't completely trash, but La Llorona could be placed by anything, and this didn't really do justice to the story. Maybe if we saw a family who was already familiar with the tale, as the parents would tell it to their kids, and it was a Mexican-American family or took place in Mexico, could have helped the story. A better film is The Legend of La Llorona. It's about a general who's acquitted of his war crime. A new maid comes who starts making the father paranoid, and the family as well. Honestly, I don't want to say any more as this is such a powerful film. Go watch this one over the other. But I guess if you want more of a traditional telling of the story, then the first one is the way to go, even if it's not the best. I also did watch a 3rd La Llorona movie, and honestly, this one was the worst. A family that lost the daughter through miscarriage went to Mexico to get away and stay at this villa where the caretaker didn't know that they had a son who they also brought along. La Llorona has attached herself to the son, and I don't know. These parents have no urgency when it comes to their son. I tuned out so many times. I couldn't really understand this movie. Just don't watch this movie unless you want to laugh. Feliz Dia de los Muertos! May we remember our loved ones and get to see them again. The 500-year-old holiday, El Dia de los Muertos, the Day of the Dead, originated in Mexico, where families reunite with their deceased relatives, welcome them back in a celebration with food and music. The heaven gates open on Halloween, October 31st, where the spirits of the children come on November 1st for 24 hours. An ofrenda is made with the departed kids' favorite things. On November 2nd, the adults are then celebrated with alcohol and more. As the celebration continues, people come together with calavera painted faces. We can see the celebration in the movie Coco. Coco is about a boy named Miguel who dreams of becoming a musician, but comes from a family who has banned music. Miguel ends up in the land of the dead, where he meets Hector, who helps him find out about his historia familia. I didn't watch it, but the Book of Life uses Dia de los Muertos as a backdrop. Judging by the reviews and rating, it seemed that Coco is the better film to watch. She has it. When I look into her eyes, something else is looking back. Postketi, the death god of broken things. Postketi, meaning broken or to break, isn't real, but is possibly based on or has familiarity to Mictlantecutli, the Aztec god of the dead. To get rid of such a monster, brujeria is used. Hexes, charms, love spells are at the brujas, the healer's disposal. This practice is considered an old tradition, the old ways. So a Mexican-American reporter, Cristina, comes to Mexico on an assignment. She reconnects with her cousin Miranda and is warned to not go into La Boca, a cave of no return, but does so anyways. She gets possessed by a demon called Pescetti, and the movie starts off with her waking up in a small room with images on the wall. That's when the bruja, Luz, and her son Javi, and Miranda tell Cristina what's going on and what needs to happen in exorcism. It doesn't help that Cristina is a heroin addict, which makes her susceptible to possession and is also a non-believer. So how accepting will she be with the old ways? This psychological thriller has a slow build-up to the final monster battle, but it is honestly so great. Critics love it. The audience score is low, but I suggest that you go watch it. Even though Pescetti isn't real, this movie still shows the ideology of preserving old tradition and culture, and that you have to heed warnings. Demons are not anything to mess with. Chupacabra, the goat sucker. Have you seen it? Careful with your livestock, your goat, and even your pets. El Chupacabra drains its blood. Hey, have you seen it? The goat-like creature with the fangs. El Chupacabra was first reported in 1995 in Puerto Rico, with sightings all the way back to the 70s. 8 sheep with puncture wounds were drained of their blood. In a town called Canavanas, 150 farm animals and pets were found dead. Animals in other countries were also found dead, such as Mexico, Brazil, Argentina, United States, and more. Throughout the years, scientists have debunked El Chupacabra's claims and chopped it up to coyotes or dogs, but those who have seen the creature say otherwise. In Chupacabra Terror, Dr. Pena and crew go to a small Caribbean island and capture the Chupacabra, which he brings on board a ship. On that ship, we also find out that someone has stolen money, which is why the captain has called for Lance Thomas to investigate. The people that Dr. Pena paid to bring the monster on board secretly, foolishly opened the crate, letting the monster out. It goes on a killing spree, eating passengers, crewmates, and the Navy, who end up showing up later to help. Yada, 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 yada. Stuff happens. Honestly, this movie is funny. I know it's not supposed to be, but it's the way that some of these people deliver their lines, the way that they aren't even phased when someone's bleeding to death in front of them, and just other hilarious things. I honestly can't take this movie seriously. This is another one you should just watch for some laughs. Have your children been bad? El Cuckoo's hungry. It likes disobedient kids. It hides under beds or in the closet. The ghost-like creature, or whatever form it is. I wonder how you'll see it. Be good, or El Cuckoo's coming for you. El Cuckoo, the boogeyman, is a child eater who is a dragon or a turtle-like creature, becomes in many forms, even a person. What it looks like isn't the scary part, but it is what it does. El Cuckoo is the story parents tell their misbehaving kid because if they don't fix their act, El Cuckoo will get them, making them disappear. In The Outsiders, a young boy gets killed and the Little League coach is arrested at the baseball game in front of many people after many eyewitnesses and the CCTV camera say that he was responsible. At the house during the search warrant, we see someone standing covered up nearby who's probably the killer. In the interrogation scene, Terry explains his whereabouts, but ends up in jail where inmates recognize that he's the kid killer. Later on, when the alibi is correct, the case starts to get confusing as Terry couldn't have been in 2 places at once. That's where El Cuckoo comes in. Can everyone prove that Terry was innocent and defeat El Cuckoo? This is our only show entry and I enjoyed it. The Outsider is suspenseful, dark, deals with grief and one's belief in the unknown and unexpected. It could be shown in 5 to 6 episodes instead of 10, so you might find it slow, but it's wonderfully acted and it's a wonderful story. It's also based on the Stephen King novel, which I haven't read, but check that out if you're interested. I wanted to do this video to put out there some myths or legends you may not know of. Because it's National Hispanic / Latin Heritage Month, I wanted to learn more about the folktale culture. I'm not necessarily saying that these are the best movies or shows for these stories, but I'm giving examples for what I had watched, as these are the only things that I could find. Let me know some more mythical creatures down below, and I hope that you guys have opened your eyes to a new side of the culture. And if you're a fan of, let's say, Greek mythology, you can now be a fan of Hispanic and Latin mythology. Also, comment if you have similar creatures in your culture. Ayo, don't drag me in the comments too much. I tried my best with the pronunciation. Yes, my ancestors would be upset with me. I already know. And also, don't drag me in the comments again for the little skit that I was trying to do in between each creature. I don't know, I was trying to make the video interesting. Anyways, I hope everyone had a good Hispanic/Latin Heritage Month. I was your host, Jen. This has been Jen Star. Peace.